Good evening, Excellency, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again to Cambodia Global Dialogue. Tonight we're going to be talking about rice. We had a few sessions on rice, but tonight I want to focus more specifically on the competitiveness of the rice sector through clustering. And I have the pleasure to invite back a good friend of mine who is the senior advisor of the Federation of SME Association of Cambodia, FASMEC. We will be covering issue that is quite recent, that may affect the competitiveness of our rice sector, and how can we exchange some idea that can help some of people, some actors in the rice sector to be more competitive, and hopefully we can push the rice sector to reach the 1 million tons a year in 2015 as per the government policy. So David, once again, welcome back.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here again tonight. And of course, there is a lot more new developments since the last time we spoke.
Yes. Well, the last time we spoke was not too long ago, but in this globalized market, so many things happening, just like that. And one of my, concern that I see is that they recently there is a new major player entering the rice market, which is India. Could you elaborate a little bit?
As you know, in the commodities trading circle, things are very stressful because things happen at lightning speed. As of Friday, the 9th of September, India has become a new substantial entrant into the global rice trading community.
You mean India has been producing rice, but they had a sort of export ban.
Yes, India has been self-imposing an export ban, but that ban has been sort of lifted by their judiciary system as of 7th of September. And therefore, since Friday, 9th of September, India has been in a position to release into the global market about 1 million tons.
1 million tons
of mill rice
into the market. So that will for sure have some impact on some.
Yes. The way how India is proceeding, as per what the professionals in the rice sector are looking at it, is that they are not, of course, going to dump 1 million tons right there on the market.
They probably start slow, no?
They're going to do it on a more gradual way, which is they're going to split 500,000 tons for the private trade, another 500,000 tons for the G2G.
Government to government,
On the 500,000 tons for the private sector is going to be more a system of allocating licenses up to 12,500 tons per license.
Okay.
12,500 tons per license per exporter, or maybe even a single exporter could have obtained a couple of additional licenses.
But don't you think that the Indian rice will have more bearing on their South Asia market, which is more Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, that part of the world, no?
That is more for the G2G business.
Okay.
For G2G, India has traditionally very close, geographically speaking, very close buyers from the Middle East, the Maldives Island, and so forth. Even Madagascar, for instance. But we are more concerned on the private trade portion, which is 500,000 tons right now, as of last Friday. What we are seeing is that the Indian price today on an FOB basis are $160, much cheaper than Cambodian price. So since Friday the 9th, we see a change of inquiries, especially from the EU buyer, that are shifting towards asking more details on the Indian origin. If you have an Indian price that is $160 or maybe even more, cheaper per ton compared to the FOB Cambodian price, you will definitely end up with a lot of EU buyers getting very keen interest, because if they buy Indian rice and even if they pay the EU duties, it will still be cheaper than Cambodian rice without duties.
But don't you think that the Indian scenario will be similar to Thailand or Vietnam already, because they are subject to duty and our trade preference under the Everything But Arms initiative will sort of shield us a bit from this. What do you see on this?
I would not take for granted the tax privilege that Cambodia has with EU.
With the EU, yeah. Under the Everything But Arms initiative, yes.
Because from what I gather for lobbies in the EU community is that the EBA will definitely not stay there more than 3 years in terms of time frame. So today we still have some breathing space because of the EBA.
Yes, yes.
But again, today we are also facing another immediate challenge with India, which is a lot more competitive than us. And even though Indian quality may be slightly lower than Cambodian rice.
Yeah, okay.
However, if the buyer want real quality, real premium, they could simply go for Thai, fragrant or non-fragrant premium brand.
Yeah. So basically, what I see, this new element, it will give us more the urgency, more the imperative to start working harder on making our sector competitiveness. And you see, as I mentioned in the beginning, I was talking more about the issue, the topic on cluster. You know, how that's already an old concept, right? Made popular by Michael Porter, right? In the competitiveness of nation. But to a lot of people, maybe you should touch a bit on this notion of cluster, and how does it link to the competitiveness of a nation, of a sector, for example?
Well, I guess today for the Cambodian rice sector, the competitiveness is definitely not there. It is a reality that we all have to face. It is a challenge that we both public and private sector needs to address. The competitiveness lies through a series of many factors. It goes from our port facilities, our ability to handle real bulk, to how do we maximize our waterways, how do we maximize our logistic flow, how our own rice miller and exporter learn how to collaborate and work with each other. This is all the concept and the very basic principle of clustering.
Yeah. So here, would you, if I get you right, are you talking the rice sector as a whole as a cluster, or the rice sector as a series of mini cluster along the value chain?
Definitely, to achieve a comprehensive single cluster is way far off. I would suggest
we're not there yet, you mean?
We are not there yet. I would suggest we make first some baby steps.
Okay.
Baby step include the change of mindset of our own people, of our own rice miller,
rice miller,
of our own exporters. Today, I look at the exporter community is very fragmented. Everybody is doing his own little things on his own corner.
Exactly.
Nobody has the sort of a paradigm shift to come together and pool the resources in order to obtain maybe better loan facilities, in order to leverage on your paddy buying power, and also in order to leverage on your ability to deliver much bigger tonnage in one single contract, 30, 40,000 tons, that sort of thing.
So how, if we realize now the urgency, the need to be more competitive, how do we go about, organizing this cluster?
Like I said, it involves first a process of self-education, a change of mindset. If these people could be sort of convinced to learn to work with each other, then they can set up some sort of pilot cooperative and move on from there on a step by step, gradually.
Cluster, you're talking about private sector, but I'm pretty sure there's a role of the public sector as well. Public-private sector partnership. Is that part of the
definitely
equation?
Government would also play a role to facilitate the creation of such cooperative. My understanding is there's a draft law decree that has been sitting with the Ministry of Agriculture as far as cooperative is concerned. So maybe we should then expedite the passage of that critical piece of legislation, we should then go about raising public awareness on the benefits and the peculiarity of this particular piece of legislation. And then especially start identifying maybe for a pilot cluster or cooperative, a group of specific people that are already collaborating together, informally speaking. And I know there are such groups in a certain part of the country. It's just that they are not yet coming to a more formal umbrella.
I see. You know, if we are to achieve these 1 million tons of rice by 2015, clearly it requires big critical mass, right?
Correct.
So it's clear. And as we speak right now, the government, the Economic and Finance Policy Committee on Economic and Finance Policy is working to review strategically the rice policy as we speak, even though the rice policy was only out a year ago, exactly a year ago. They see the urgency to double check right away before it's getting too far. Maybe strategic review maybe is a little bit big, but the point is that the attention focus, on the rice sector is important. That's why the Prime Minister have commissioned a task force, Ministry of Finance, SNEC is working on that. How I see is that the challenge for us, is more to get that message that you said. We need to get the critical mass. Right. Critical mass not only in terms of production of paddy, critical mass in terms of transport. Logistics is important, right? Integrated logistics, for example, in this case. Waterway, you see how high the water in the Mekong River now? You see all those big barge? These are awesome mode of transport that is still very much underutilized, right? But from the private sector perspective, what has the private sector so far has been doing, because I know on the government side, a lot of things happening. Trade facilitation costs have reduced. I mean, to be fair to many of the effort of the government, we're undergoing this review now. The Ministry of Agriculture is pushing their seed, the 10 seed. Ministry of Industry right now is working with some funding from the World Bank to establish a standard for rice. So the government is doing whatever they can on the government side. But on the private sector side, what have you been doing then, recently?
So I think the private sector side for them is all about making profit. Let's be honest.
Which is fine.
And when it comes to making profit, people can get creative.
Okay.
People are looking at the way how the government is helping facilitating all these issues.
Yes.
Logistics, it could be a trade facilitation, it will be costing, and so forth. But you just now touch upon the barge system along the waterways of Cambodia. And I am very actually pleased to tell you that since the last couple of months, the private sector, at least a few companies, have already started shipping in bulk.
Oh, is that
seriously
right?
In bulk.
Is that right?
Out of Phnom Penh port.
Wow.
Directly in bulk onto the barges to go for a transshipment onto the mother vessel in Ho Chi Minh port. So
rice or paddy?
Rice, not
okay.
paddy.
Yes.
We are talking of about, as I'm speaking right now, probably about 8,000 tons by October.
Okay.
In between August, September,
That's
October.
Very good. That's good news.
That's
good news.
So that is the beginning of some serious tonnage in bulk.
Yes, exactly.
And that's why I'm saying commodities has to be in bulk.
That's great.
So
that's great.
The again, if I come back to the Cambodia Rice Forum that is going to take place on the 17th of October.
Please tell me more about that, because to me that's very important.
So the Cambodia Rice Forum is now already more or less finalized.
Okay.
The date is fixed for 17th October, which is Monday. The Prime Minister has given the instruction to appoint a high representative, which is Deputy Prime Minister Excellency Yim Chai Lee.
Yes.
Who happened to be also the chairman of the
Cambodia Agriculture and Rural Development.
Correct. The so-called CERD. Council of Agriculture and Rural Development.
Yes, yes.
So that is the perfect personality to.
And I can see Kitchon is closing, right?
And of course, I guess in order to really mark the government due attention to that event.
Yes, commitment.
Another Deputy Prime Minister, which is Excellency Kitchun, would then come and do the closing.
Now this is great. So you see, that's why I'm saying it's clear that the policy of the government, the effort of the government, the focus of the government is on helping the sector, right? At the Rice Forum, who will be coming?
At the Rice Forum, we would be expecting at least between 30 to 40 key international buyers.
International buyers.
Those buyers will be coming from Eastern and Western Europe.
Okay.
There will be also buyers from the neighboring countries like Thailand, Malaysia, and so forth.
Are you kidding?
Yes. Even Chinese firms that are selling rice mill equipment became also one of the major sponsors of the event. That's to tell you how, after two subsequent press conferences that we did in August and in September, the public awareness is simply increasing. And we are getting now more and more inquiries on how do we participate for the event, how do we come and put our product to be exhibited at the event and so forth. And I guess hopefully this will be the very first successful international rice event for Cambodia, for professionals.
Are you going to do on a regular annual basis?
We do hope that after this Cambodia Rice from 2011, the whole event is going to be much more institutionalized. In any other countries.
Sure. Now that's great. For me, you know, calling Cambodian Rice Forum is important because it mobilizes the whole country. It helped the government also because we see that the real actor, which is the businessman, the importer, the exporter, the buyer, the producer, the rice miller, they are all in it. And it gives a lot of confidence to the government side to say, okay, you know, number one, you know, our policy is working. It creates, you know, momentum. It creates some bubbling effect that people want to get involved because they know that the government is keen to support. But at the same time, I find the word forum is important in the sense that it brings all the actors to meet each other.
That creates the platform.
That creates a platform, and I hope you will start pushing at that forum the notion of clustering. Because to me, it's competitiveness, people talk about it. But not many people understand the how. We talk, we should be competitive. But how? Well, I don't know. So here, other countries that I know, I mean, Vietnam, Thailand, they all spend their own cash, private sector, to hide special expertise, right? International expert on the sector to help them mobilize.
You see, no matter how advanced our direct competitors, put it Thailand or Vietnam, in terms of agricultural sector, these countries still need on a regular basis direct expertise from key people like you quoted Michael Porter, for instance. So we are lucky enough that at the forum we're going to have a very reputable consulting group that will come and deliver a topic about precisely cluster competitiveness. And that is going to give a hint on what strategy would the government and the private sector be willing to adopt in terms of moving forward the rice sector of Cambodia. And we are also, I would say, fortunate enough that we also have another reputable international rice broker firm, which is Siphana, that is almost 100 years old, based in Belgium. And these people have been kind enough to be our international coordinator for the forum to pull in that critical mass of international buyers that we need.
No, I think to me is to elevate just about a year ago a sector that is nowhere in the national priority. You know, it's just rice, who cares, right? You know, it used to be garment, tourism. Now, to elevate to a level of international stature like this, it's important. And you know, one thing it's clear that from my experience in this sort of thing, that the moment people see the government commitment in a particular sector, private cash is coming, because they know that if they invest, they know that the attention being there. Because in competitiveness, it requires a lot of reform. It requires a lot of fine-tuning of policy that doesn't work, area that don't have policy, and sometimes is out-of-date policy. You know, I'm not saying that if our investment law is date back to 15 years, you know, why can we not have a update, you know, policy, investment policy to reflect something that is more update? And to me, the exciting part is that as we are working like hell to get this right strategic review, last week, a few weeks ago, the Indian came out with a policy on their own that has nothing to do with Cambodia.
Precisely.
We have no clue, because it's their country. But their decisions have a direct impact on our strategy. So to me, you know, being updated is important. Being, you know, up to speed with what's happening in the world is very important.
Correct.
You know, and competitiveness is not a forever thing. It's very much a competitiveness for the moment. Because tomorrow, somebody step in, it throw you out of whack.
Competitiveness to me is all about being ahead of the game between you and your competitors.
That's it.
The further you are ahead, the harder it's going to take time for them to catch up with you.
Yes.
But this is what the kind of message that we need to drive to both the public and private sector here.
That competitiveness should be a state of mind.
Correct. How Cambodia could become competitive, and then what Cambodia should do to retain that so-called competitiveness.
Yes.
But we first need to start from the beginning.
Yes. Now, I think for the rice sector, it's a good sector to tackle, because many other agricultural products will rely on the wind, you know, of the rice sector, because it has a critical mass. It has 8 or 9 million people living off the rice production or rice trade or rice sector, right? As compared to corn, as compared to cassava, as compared to cashew nut, you know. So, so for me, if we're able to get going a sort of even a pre-cluster thinking, you know, to set the stage so that next year we start moving on, you know, sector policy, competitive policy, clustering policy. How do we bring the SME into the picture? The Ministry of Industry, who, for that matter, are the Director General of the on Industry of the Ministry of Mining, Ministry Industry, Mine and Energy. They are quite, you know, clear on what they want to do. But again, it has to be part of a larger national issue.
Correct.
Yeah.
Rice is the trendy product. Rice is the locomotive for further changes, further reforms along the path.
Yeah.
So all the SME issues that are touching upon agricultural products, it could be cassava, it could be rubber, it could be cashew nut, whatsoever, they are all facing the same issue as for rice. So if you can solve all these issues for rice, it automatically will have repercussion for the rest of commodities product for Cambodia.
Yes, yes.
FASTMAC also has been playing a very active role in trying to push forward in support of the agricultural commodities, again with MIME support.
Sure.
And at the last technical working group for SME, FASTMAC has actually put on the table a request for the Prime Minister to consider perhaps waiving off the 1% corporate tax on turnover that everybody pay monthly, which has been actually accorded to the government sector. So we in the private sector, we heard what the Prime Minister said last year when he launched the policy.
That whatever incentive for the government, it will be the same. Yeah.
So therefore, we would like to request certain minor change in order to again enhance the price competitiveness as a first step.
Sure. We're coming to the end of the 30-minute dialogue. What's your message?
I would say the message today is a clear message of urgency in order to increase competitiveness of Cambodia rice sector, because commodities trading is a very stressful environment. Things happen, like I just said, at a very lightning speed. Today you have a major entrant, which is India, into the global rice trading arena, and therefore it changes, it shuffles the entire card game yet again.
Sure.
So the key is how do we stay ahead of the time and keep our eyes on the ball.
And then, based on what you just said, then I can say that the solution would be looking for a clustering approach to help the sector become more competitive.
Correct.
Am I correct?
Correct. But first, a mindset change.
Mindset
is
change,
very crucial.
So we start with appreciating the environment. We start to think what would require that paradigm shift in terms of thinking, a way doing business. But then ultimately we need to move into a clustering approach.
Correct.
To make sure that the rice sector not only is competitive but is ahead of the game, and to anticipate what may happen in the future. Because in this globalized world, like you say, things happen like that. And Cambodia needs to be on top of that. So David, thank you so much. I think I really appreciate this update. And I hope your Cambodian Rice Forum will be successful. This is one of the first events that Cambodia will have at such an international level. And I really look forward to see FASMEC play a stronger role in that. I look forward to see our rice strategy being sort of improved, adjust, fine-tuned. And at the end of the day, you know, a few years from now, I hope to see a rice sector well clustered so that we can become more competitive. So, Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, we are coming to the end of our program. But the theme is quite exciting, you know, competitiveness, clustering, these are all difficult notions to understand. But for the rice sector, it's very clear. You know, there are major players in the world. Some are next door to us. Some are so big as India, but a little bit far, but whatever they do will have an impact on our economy, on our business, on our trade. At the end of the day, to tackle, to be able to sustain and withstand all this unpredictability, is that our sector have to be more competitive. Our sector have to be more ready. And I'm glad today we start talking, we start introducing this notion that in many advanced countries, they live on a day-to-day basis, which is competitiveness for clustering. So once again, I hope you can learn something tonight. And I hope the people who are in the rice industry, you know, appreciate the urgency of getting organized, of getting together, pool the resource, pool the expertise, team up, get a critical mass, and become more competitive. So on that note, I say good night to you.